So finding your seat. All right, again, the feet can be close, tucked in, knees wide. The feet can be wide. Just different, affects the relationship of the femur to the pelvis. Right? Just different ways, which is good. Okay, closing your eyes again, just feeling your placement and actually feeling it from your body, from your legs, from your pelvis. The way the spine is balancing from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Even just imagining that thread from perineum to crown right through the center of the body. Maybe even just the sense of the back of the body, the spine, in front of the spine. That thread running in front of the structure of the sacrum, the spinal column. But through, almost in line with the nerve plexi that wrap from the spinal column to just in front of the spine. We have several nerve plexuses. Again, just drawing your attention, perineum, the inner side of the sacrum, inner side of the lumbar spine, below the navel or behind the navel. Just below the rib cage in front of the spine, between spine and heart, spine and throat, center of the skull, crown of the head. And just feeling the weight of your body sitting on the earth, almost just touching into that sense of the earth, the mass of the earth. Dirt, the rock, water, trees, all the qualities of the earth. And then maybe drawing your awareness into the crown of the head. Just that vertical quality that we're drawing up towards the stars, towards the sun, towards the moon. That in a sense we belong to all of it. To the earth, to the sun, to the stars, moon, to our bodies. Next exhale, letting it come through the mouth, slowly diffuse. Almost like a long, slow sigh. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. Long, slow sigh. One more. Slow, diffuse inhale, really filling completely but easily. And then exhaling slowly, diffuse, like breathing fog. And palms together in front of your heart. Just feel the feeling in the body. the mind, the heart. And let's inhale for one Om. Om. I hope you can hear the birds. Okay, so 2 blocks. Lowest height. And then blanket. I'm just going to keep doing this for a while. Upper back. So if you have a longer torso, you can always separate the 2 blocks. Right, so upper back, and let's actually turn them. Let's actually turn them this way today. So they're more perpendicular to the length of the spine. But I'm going to still put a blanket over, just so that if you need a little extra under your head, you can. Okay, so knees are bent, feet on the floor, upper back. So basically the shoulder blade rests on the first block. Right, as much of the whole shoulder blade, meaning the lower tip, that triangular bone, the 2 outer borders or the inner border, outer border, top edge, you're just thinking about it. Arms away from the body, straight out to the side from the shoulders if you can. If your hands are floating off the floor, maybe put something under them, or bring the hands down so they're on the floor, and then you can adjust. Good. Again, if your chin is quite lifted and the back of the neck is short, put some of the blanket under your head. Not a lot, just enough so the chin starts to lower and the back of the neck starts to get quiet. Good. So letting the teeth separate, feeling that hinge of the jaw and the front of the throat, the front of the neck start to get quiet. And letting your breath get deeper, right, to allow some movement in the rib cage, right? So allow some fullness in that front chest. And letting the weight of the arms really draw away from the breastbone. Just asking for a little more adaptability in that pec tissue. But feeling the movement of the rib basket and all the tissues inside. Like the casing of the lungs is also attached to the ribs. And so the full breath is really important for so many of the, well, actually for organ function, for circulation, just the mechanical movement. And then also feeling the back of the rib cage as if the ribs could spread away from the spine. Good. And then let's take the arms up to the ceiling for a moment. And I'm going to take the arms out into a Y shape. And so the arms are wide and my arms are floating above the floor. And again, if that is too much, maybe put something under your hands, whatever you have available in your room. Or if it's not too much, to let it float. If your body just resists it it's too much. If you can feel some change, some softening, some allowance, then your nervous system is able to adapt. Again, jaw, throat, upper chest, above and below the collarbone. The pec muscle, which comes all the way up to the collarbone and down, pretty far down. A few ribs below the breast. That tissue attaching to the sternum, to the center portion of the rib cage, and moving out to that upper arm. And a couple more breaths here. Again, feeling the fullness in the front ribs, top ribs, lower ribs. Again, going back to that sense of relating the diaphragm to the pelvic floor. So there's a fullness in the pelvis, the waist, and the ribs. And a fullness in the back of the ribs, side of the ribs, as well as the front. Okay, let's take the arms up to the ceiling again, just pausing. And then let's take the arms overhead. So arms parallel, arms overhead. Then if you need support under the backs of the hands, please take it. But letting the breath help you keep the ribs quite heavy. And again, that continual movement from the breath. Back ribs quite full. Side ribs quite full. Relating the pelvic floor and the diaphragm on the inhale. Breath is full and buoyant. Shoulder blades are heavy, and you're reaching through the arms just to help organize the shoulders. Should again get easier and easier. If it doesn't, use support or come out and come in. And then bring the arms up to the ceiling and back out to the side. Good. And then let's bend the arms, roll to your side to come off of the block and come up to sit. Okay, so laying down on your back just for a moment. And let's stretch the arms and the legs out into an X. And you can do this off of your sticky mat, just so that you can slide. A little bit easier. Okay, so we've done one leg at a time, but we're gonna play with, well, actually, let's do a little roll. Let's do a roll. So I'm gonna pull the right elbow to the right knee and pull the knee to the elbow and the elbow to the knee. So I get a little bit of a side bend. I get a little compression on that right side of the torso. And then I'm gonna let that left arm and left leg pull to the right or slide to the right. The right arm and leg are bent, the left arm and leg are straight. And then I'm gonna let that compression roll me onto my side. That left side is following. And then I'm going to reverse. So I'm going to keep that right elbow knee together, reach that left arm and left leg away from each other, and let the pelvis roll to the floor. And the left arm and leg are still just favoring that right side. So there's a little long arch through that left side, and then unwind into your X shape. And then left knee and elbow pull towards each other. And again, draw even further in so that I get that compression through the left side of the waist. And it starts to draw the right arm and right leg over to the left. And then the pelvis rolls and the limbs fold in, roll into a little nut on my left side. And then extend right arm and right leg away from each other. So I'm in a side bend on my side, and then the pelvis starts to roll to the floor, back of the pelvis to the floor. I'm still on a little bit of a crescent moon shape. And then slide the right and left, right arm and leg out, come back into the X. One more time to each side. So bending, right arm, right leg, right, engaging that right side of the waist, letting that draw the left arm and leg over and roll me onto my side. Pause. Extend left arm, left leg. Let the pelvis roll. So I'm still in that side bend as I'm rolling and then extending out into my X. And then left knee and elbow come towards each other. Engage, let that pull the right arm and right leg over to the left. Pelvis rolls onto my left side. And one more coming back. Right arm, right leg, reach away from each other. I'm still on my side, so I have one side bend. And then as the pelvis rolls, just that nice opening through back, side, front, and then coming back to my X. Okay, arms stay where they are. I'm just going to, keeping my ribs heavy, I'm just going to slide my feet in towards my buttocks. So my pelvis is really heavy, my ribs are heavy so that my feet are light enough to slide. And then I'm going to pull my knees towards my chest. And then toes to the floor, pelvis and ribs stay heavy, slide the legs out. This time I'm going to move arms and legs. So as the pelvis gets heavy, ribs heavy, and the feet slide in, the arms come up. The knees come in, hold the shins, draw the knees to the chest. Keep the ribs heavy, reaching arms and legs away from each other. Come back into that X. Again, ribs and pelvis heavy, feet slide, arms lift, knees to the chest, hands to the shin. This time lift the head up, tuck the forehead to the knees, and then slowly open up like a flower. Reaching your limbs like petals open. And again, knees slide in, feet slide in, arms come towards the center, wrapping into the center, head comes up to the knees, knees to the nose. And then slowly open up. See those poppies, nice and open right now. And again, sliding in, pulling everything in, knees to nose, and then opening out. Last time, hold everything in. Feel the breath help you. The exhale, emptying the belly. The inhale, weighting the ribs, opening the chest, opening the body. Yay. And then roll onto your right side. And come up to sit. Okay. All right. So let's come on to hands and knees. Do one thing on the floor and then come up to stand. So palms under shoulders, knees under hips. And toes under, just to stretch the toes. Just gonna make a circle around the hands, right? So as my weight shifts, I'm feeling the perimeter finger pads, webbings of fingers, the length of the fingers engaging with the floor differently. Other side. Good, and even though I'm getting more weight around the periphery of the hand, the inner hand, the base of the thumb, the length of the thumb still engaged with the floor. So turning the fingers out to the side, again, another circle, one direction. Maybe even slowly enough so you feel the engagement through the whole arm. As if the hand changed direction, as if the hand could help support the shoulder blade. So there's movement in the shoulder blade as we move around the hand. And then fingertips towards the knees. Smaller circle. Knees can be wide. Again, slow enough so you notice when the shoulder blades want to squeeze to find stability. Can you find whole body stability? So from the legs, from the waist, from the breath, shoulder blades able to slide on the ribs as you move around the hands. Good. And then come back to neutral. And it's going to play with tucking tailbone towards the backs of the knees, cat shape, lifting. So the top of the sacrum, right, where that juncture between the lumbar and the sacrum, lifting that towards the ceiling. So the tailbone, right, the back of the sacrum and the tailbone can really slide towards the floor. And then lifting those lower ribs, that juncture between lumbar and thoracic. Shoulder blades wide. Throat soft as the head tips forward. And then just slowly unfurling the fiddle head. Right, sitting bones start to peel back. Spread wide. Pubis moves back. Belly gets long. Shoulder blades slide towards the spine. Throat lengthens. Face lifts. And then reverse. Tailbone. And see if you can initiate from the tailbone, the tissue around the tailbone, as if pulling the tailbone towards the pubis. And that lift, top of sacrum, top of lumbar, spread the shoulders. Head slides down, back of the head slides towards the floor. And then reverse, sitting bones back, pubis back, belly long. Shoulder blades slide back and in. You don't even have to be guided. It's just the response to the movement. One more on your own. You can slow it down if you need to. Include the breath if it helps. Feeling the organic movement. And what limits it and what frees it. Good. And neutral. Uncurl the toes. Take the knees wide. Buttocks back. Hands forward. Child's pose. Good. Walk the hands to the right. Left hip drawing back away from that left hand. And swing all the way around to the other side. Right hip drawing back away from the right hand. And other side. And feeling the hip and the hand move away from each other, and the breath creates some ease in the tissue between. Other side again. The inhale, moving the ribs from the inside. And back to center, arms forward. Good, and come up on two hands and knees again. Okay, so let's actually come up into downward dog. So turn the toes under, shift weight forward into your, right, so as I shift weight forward, almost past my hands, I feel the shoulder blades reflexively engage on the back and pull down towards the hips. And shift back and forward. And hopefully they do that. And if they don't, slow the movement down. Noticing where the limitations are. One more time. Forward. And feel that reflexive movement. And then as I shift back, lift the knees. Hips scoop up and back. Keeping the knees bent for a few moments. And then keep lifting the back of the pelvis up to straighten the legs. Okay, let's take the feet wide. So right foot stays where it is. I'm just going to take that left leg, wrap it around the back of that right leg, and pull the hips to that right back corner of the mat. Good, letting that left hip pull away from the left hand and that right heel sink towards the floor. And then step that left foot out. Right leg wraps around the left, back of the left, hook around the back of the ankle. Right hip draws away from that right hand. Left heel to the floor. And breathe. Good. Both feet wide again, drawing the hips back and up. See if there's a little more play in your feet, legs, backs of ankles, calves. Does that give more room for the shoulders? And then let's walk the feet forward. Bend your knees and round up to stand. All right, so I'm going to stand with my right hand on the wall. So right hand aligned with the shoulder and the arm is straight. So it's this shape. Fingers facing up to the ceiling. Okay, so let's just take that left arm up to the ceiling and over. And reaching towards the wall, but keeping that right arm straight. Reaching towards the fingers, but maybe I end up reaching towards the forearm. And then come up. Turn those right fingers to face now the front of the room. Right, so now the arm is internally rotated. Same thing, reaching that left arm up and over. Again, there's that little bit of side bend. So let those right ribs drop to let the left ribs lift. Reaching and breathing. Creating some space in the back ribs, side ribs, even side of the neck. And come up. And then from here, I'm just going to step that left foot back a little bit and turn away from my right hand. Maybe even stretch that left arm out. And then step that left foot back in. Turn the fingers towards the ceiling. Again, just turn the left foot out. Step out. Turn away from the wall. Let that left arm reach. Look towards the left hand. Maybe look towards the right hand. And step back, come to neutral. This time, fingers face back towards the back wall. Left arm up and over. Again, side bending, but the right arm is straight. That's the only, so you can really lean almost away from the wall to get more side bend, more contraction through the right side and opening through the left side. And then come up, again, slight turn out with that left foot, reach, look out to that left hand. A little bit of a nerve stretch on that right side. And then turn and look at the right hand. And come back to center. Okay, so hand down just for a moment, feel. Okay. And then right hand back to the wall, fingers facing forward, direction of my eyes. All right, so left arm comes up again and over. And this time I'm gonna let my fingertips find the wall. Let my hand find the wall. So my right arm can bend to let my left hand find the wall. And then I'm gonna try to straighten both arms. Feet are still facing now to my left as I round my back. And turn the ribs to the right to let that right arm straighten. Good, and then I'm just gonna turn my feet towards the wall. Good, let the back round. And then a little bit of an extension. So breastbone starts to lift, shoulder blades hopefully drop. Collarbones lift, eyes lift. Look up. And again, rounding, especially the upper back. And extending. Shoulder blades soften down, breastbone lifts, as if you could curl up and back over the shoulder blades. One more time, round. And center. And lift. And center. Okay, so turning the feet now to the right, both arms straight, rounding, again, ribs turning to the left in order to keep that left arm straight. Left side body lengthening, right side body lengthening. And then I'm just gonna turn, right, left hand stays where it is, left arm stays straight, right fingers come to the floor or to the wall. But I'm turning now to the right. So maybe the fingertips come away from the wall, but I'm in that side bend. Left ribs towards the left hip. Right side body nice and open. And then come up to stand. Okay. All right, I guess you can see. So fingers facing forward on the left hand. Same thing, right arm comes up and over towards the wall. Right, lengthening right hand away from the right foot and from the hip. And up to center. Turn with the right foot. Just turn out a little bit, reach that right arm out to the center of the room. Good, look towards the right hand. Look back towards the left hand. Neck long. Good, turn back in. Let's turn the fingers now up towards the ceiling, spreading the whole hand into the wall. So as that right arm comes up and over, the left hand is still engaged with the wall. The finger pads, length of fingers, webbings, thumb, base of thumb. Reaching towards the wall, but right hand reaching away from the hip, away from the foot. And then come back up. Slight turn out with that right foot, turning the pelvis. Reach out to the center of the room, reach back, look towards the right hand. Lengthen the neck, look towards the left hand. Base of the thumb heavy, base of the pointer finger heavy. Turn back to center. Fingers now pointing back towards the back of the room. Right arm up and over. Both arms straight. Right arm reaching away from the hip, away from the ribs, away from the foot. Good, and back to center. Turn out, turn the pelvis, reach with that right arm. Look at the right hand. Look at the left hand. Good, and back to center. Take one moment, drop the arms down. Notice your breath. Using your breath almost to soothe, settle, soften any sensation. Noticing the sensation. Good. Coming down onto my forearms. Actually, I'm going to come onto my belly and forearms. So my elbows are right under my shoulders. Palms are parallel, forearms are parallel. And my pubis is pretty heavy, right? That I still want that sense of lengthening the back of the sacrum and tailbone away from the upper back. And my belly isn't quite resting on the floor. It's more that the pelvis and pubis, lower pelvis, is resting on the floor. Good. Eyes looking forward if they can. If that's too much on the neck, look slightly down. Find an angle that works for you. So I'm going to sneak shoulder blades up towards the ears. So I'm laying my body on the floor and then pressing into my elbows, forearms, palms, and pulling the shoulder blades down. So all of those muscles are engaging. Now squeezing shoulder blades up to the ears. So all the muscles or tissue above the shoulder blade, top of shoulder, and then pulling down, muscles underneath and up towards the ears and down towards the hips. Notice right side, left side, up towards the ears, right side, left side, and down and up and down and up and down. Last one, up and down. Good. I'm just going to slide my hands forward. Let my forehead come to the floor for a moment. Reach the hands forward. Good. Slide the hands straight out to the side. Good. Pressing into the hands. So pressing into the hands, I'm going to start to lift the head off the floor. So chin isn't pulling forward. I'm just lifting the head straight up. So back of the head is just lifting towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to slide my hands in by lifting my upper back up. So pubis gets heavy, lifting my upper back up. My hands are there just to support. So as I press the hands down, hopefully I feel the shoulder blades engage. Lift maybe a little higher, feel the shoulder blades engage. Let's slide the hands up, over, and then same thing, but from the hands overhead, coming out the way, or coming in the way that we came out. So pressing into the hands just a little bit, lifting the head, let that slide the hands closer, and then keep sliding the hands back until you get elbows right under the shoulders. Good. Now, squeezing shoulder blades towards each other. So I'm not going up and down so much as straight back and forward. Squeezing towards the spine, forward towards the breastbone. Back towards the spine, forward towards the breastbone. Back to the spine, forward. Back, forward, back, and initiate a little more with the right side, feel that. A little more with the left side, feel that. And then spread and squeeze, spread and squeeze. And both sides are different. It's just noticing how they're different. 2 more, spread, squeeze, spread, sorry, something in my throat, squeeze, spread, and squeeze. And then slide the arms out again. Slide the hands wide so they're straight out to the side from the shoulder. Again, just a little press the hands into the floor, but not so much that you can't slide. I just want to think about hands pressed into the floor, shoulder blades engaged just a little bit on the back. Lift the head to lift the upper back. Good, lift the head a little more to lift the upper back. Press into the hands, feel the upper back, turn on. Maybe lift a little bit more. Press, feel the upper back, turn on. Good, slide out, reach the arms forward. Good, press into the hands. Again, just a little bit, so as I lift my head, my hands can slide, but my hands are reminding my upper back to engage rather than my lower back. Cube is still heavy. Hands slide in a little more. Elbows under shoulders. Okay, so now just a little oppositional thing. So let's take right shoulder straight forward. So now I'm focusing more on shoulder blade, outer, upper arm connecting to the shoulder blade and to the collarbone. So the whole shoulder girdle moving forward, the right side, left side is going to move back and back. I'm actually just going to focus on the right side. So initiating forward movement with the right side and back. Left side is just responding to the movement. Initiation, forward with the right side and back. Head is pretty neutral. Forward and back, meaning that I'm either looking straight forward or slightly down, depending on what's comfortable for my neck. And forward and back. 3 more, forward and back. So the last 2, as I come forward, my head's going to turn to the left. And as I come back, my head follows, turns to the right. Notice when it wants to lead, let the shoulder lead and the head follow. One more time, just because it's interesting not to initiate from the head, from the eyes, maybe even close the eyes for the last one. And center. Okay, left side initiate, forward and back. Notice how it feels different. Oops, see, now my head wants to follow. Head neutral. Just letting that left shoulder blade move forward and back, forward and back. Pube is heavy. Try not to lean or fall. Not overly engaged. It just, again, feels more like a whole body movement. And back and forward and back and forward and back. This time as I move forward, head responds. Left shoulder moves back, head responds. Left shoulder forward, head responds by turning. Left shoulder moves back, moving the ribs, head responds. Left shoulder forward, again, maybe even closing the eyes, right? We initiate a lot through the eyes, through what we see. And then come forward, come to neutral. Slide the arms forward. This time just stack your hands. Let's turn the head to the right. Bringing your left cheek on your hands. And lift and turn to the other side, right cheek on your hands. Good, bring your palms back under your shoulders again. So head off the floor, looking at the floor, feeling long through the neck. Good, just pressing into the hands or spreading the hands into the floor. So I feel webbings of fingers, length of fingers, finger pads, the perimeter of the palm, the inner heel of the hand, outer heel of the hand. Good, notice what that does in the upper back. And then I'm going to peel the hand off the floor. Same shape in the upper back, in the neck, pubis heavy. And then palm on the floor. Spread the palm into the floor. It doesn't even need to be a lot of weight, just an engagement. Inner hand, outer hand, base of thumb, base of little finger, finger pads, all of them. Little finger, ring, middle, pointer, thumbs, inner heel of hand. And then again, peel the hands off the floor. Pubis heavy, heavy, heavy. Good, last time, spreading the hand into the floor. Maybe a little press. Engaging all parts of the hand, right and left. And then release and lift. Good, hands down, press into the knees. So turn the toes under, press into the knees and hands, lift up. Toes under, shift the weight forward. Lift the knees as you shift back, downward facing dog. Good. And shift forward to plank. Again, little circle here. So I'm just gonna use my feet to push towards the right hand, forward, towards the left hand, back. Change direction, left, forward, right hand, back. Bring the legs all the way together. Squeeze the heels together. Inner thighs together. Knees down. Child's pose. Toes together, knees wide. Good. Slide the hands back under the shoulders. Slowly round up to sit. Good. Bring the knees all the way together. Let's actually stretch the legs forward. Let's just do this with the legs forward. So the legs can be as wide, feet can be as wide as the mat. So there's a little width. And sitting more vertically, and then chin to chest, rounding the upper back, rounding that middle back, lower back, as if the crown of the head could touch the pubic bone. And then start to pull the crown of the head forward through that space between the feet, as if past the feet. And slowly come up through a flat back. Tucking chin to chest, rounding, right? Letting the back ribs spread away from the spine. Think about your cat pose, but the whole length of the spine. Remembering that sense of tailbone tucking forward. So the back face of the sacrum is following the tailbone. And then crown of the head starts to pull forward. You can even reach the arms forward, floor, feet. Reach forward through the whole spine. Crown of head, spinal column. And come up through a flat back. And let's come down through a flat back. So there's a little engagement through the legs, right? Pressing into the floor. So the heels, the calves, the thighs, the sitting bones are pressing down, but they're almost sliding back as if you could scoot your tail back now this time, opposite. And then from here, start to curl the tailbone forward. Find that opening, that rounding at the top of the sacrum, top of the lumbar, through the ribs, between ribs and neck, and round up to sit. Good, and then bring your legs together, cross your legs. Let's actually grab our props. Just make sure they're handy. And rounding down. Squeeze the feet into each other as if you could pull the legs apart. As you slowly, slowly lower down. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my blanket. Actually, I'm going to come back up again for a moment. Just going to take my blanket, roll it up, put it under my thighs. Oh, strap. You have your strap. This is when it's good. Okay, so I'm grabbing my strap and my blocks. So 2 blocks, bottom of the mat. Just measuring, right? I just want to make sure that the blocks are in the right place. The heels can be on the blocks, blanket under the thighs. And then I'm going to take my strap and bring it around loop it around my legs. So walk my feet through, bring it up to my upper thighs and snug, but not too snug. I want my thigh bones parallel, but first I'm going to lay down. So as I lay down, again, I'm going to let that tailbone scoot forward, top of the sacrum drop back, so I can let my ribs have some space from my sacrum. Okay, so again, I want my thigh bones to be parallel, not together, so that when I straighten my legs, the strap is just keeping my legs from rolling out, but it should feel easy. It should feel containing, calming, guiding, but not fixed. Arms out to the side, palms down. Just feeling, right, with the palms down, the widening in the back. Good. If you would like to turn the palms up, you can. If you would like to put the hands back on the body, you can. If you'd like another blanket over you, please take it. Following your breath, just that rhythm of the breath, allowing the inhale to create space. And the exhale to create heaviness, surrender, or release. And maybe you find a different experience in your body, and that's fine. But just allowing the breath to help you, as if untangling the fibers. And then allowing you to settle back, drop back, sink back even more. Now your legs might roll out, and that's fine. Just let them, let the strap hold them. Let the belly get wide. And the front of the pelvis get wide, and the back of the pelvis get wide. And just allowing your body to respond to gravity, the feet and the legs, the full length of the leg to the hip, the fingers and the hands, and the length of the arm up to the shoulder. The full length and width and complexity of the torso. The organs of digestion, the systems, nervous system, cardiovascular system, lymphatic system. There's so many parts to our body, just allowing them to settle just for a moment, as if to do a gentle reset. Endocrine system, hormone, digestion. And our system of perception, part of our nervous system. Allowing yourself to be held, supported. And then one last moment to really feel your body settle. But we all have our own response to light. And as you feel that downshifting through your system, and as you allow that downshifting, really mark it, note it, feel it, so that throughout the day you notice the different phases that you move through. With our engagement and our downshifting, of sinking back and moving forward. A little movement through the fingers and toes, bending your knees, slipping your strap off, roll to your side and up to sit. The eyes closed, palms together in front of your heart. Just turning towards the things that nourish you. The rising of the sun, the setting of the sun, the flowers, the budding, the colors, the sounds, the birds, what nourishes you. Turn towards that. And let's finish with one Om. Om.